seen the news at all?
No.
So you don't know what happened out there, do you? There was a shooting out there. 2 people died. And they were in that car. So just, if you could tell us what happened, and then we'll go from there.
I didn't see where he came from, but he started walking towards my car. He goes, will you give me a ride? Will you give me a
Finally
ride?
fixed the
And then I said no. And
output
then
so I can put the video on YouTube again. I don't know what was going on there. I just needed, I guess, to put it in a new file. So it's recording now, so the videos will start going back up on YouTube today. It'll be scheduled for tomorrow, but I can now record the gameplay, so when it goes off of Twitch, you can find it on YouTube.
She had a really close call. It's really good that she didn't take this guy in. Look what he really is.
Yeah.
He was involved in an accident, but he killed 2 people too.
Right.
She described to the bad guy who was running northbound. It's very possible he could have carried the gun all the way to where he was going. Think of anything, give us a call, okay? You take care, or it's very, very possible that gun is dumped somewhere. So we need to do an extensive search of that area and find that gun.
Back at the crime scene, Kalesa and his team reconstruct the killer's movements.
There's a good chance he came out of that passenger door right there, that back door.
A shoe print pattern. There's one pattern that we started watching it, and it's going eastbound, and the line basically goes out to the street. Where I've got the code is about where he was asking for a ride.
Right in the middle of this mess, there's blood drop right there. Yeah, all the way down to here we have blood.
There's some shoe prints in the front dirt area of this house that match shoe prints that are back at that car. There's a left foot. The next one should be here.
More cones.
He ain't running, is he?
No, he's walking.
He's walking.
Walking very casually.
After nearly 3 hours of searching, the trail ends.
That's basically it.
Your daughter's name is Frances?
Well, it's my niece, but her name's Frances Tapia. It is hers. We saw the car on TV.
There is a deceased male there and a deceased female.
Long hair, like mine. LinkedIn.
Yes.
Really petite.
Yes. There's different items inside the purse. There's Francis. You try and put yourself in the car. Someone inside the car. Inside the car. Well, I need to know what's wrong with
People that he was going to stay with. I can show you the house. I have no problem telling you that.
the way this car is pointing right now. So I don't know where they came from.
Trina says Joseph and Francis have been struggling with addictions to methamphetamines. They may have been partying the night before.
It's like one of the really close friends.
With the new information from Trina, Kalesa heads back to the highway where the suspect's trail ended.
We lost the shoe print because of the way the ground is, but this would be a likely path back to that house.
But Kalesa needs more evidence before he can confront whoever lives in that house.
You know, you can't just go back in the door.
Homicide Sergeant Joanne and her squad are working the murder of an unknown man found shot to death in a Cadillac Escalade SUV. They figured out the victim was killed elsewhere and dumped where he was found. But that's all Kate knows, as the first 48 continues to slip away.
I really wanted to be a doctor. That got money to go to school. So I wanted to do something that I know was going to make a difference. And I believe this is, well, I've been here 17 years, so I guess this is my career.
The Cadillac has been towed to the medical examiner's office.
Okay, here we go.
Excellent job, Adam.
Detective Ken Tucker runs the Cadillac's plates to help out the victim, while Kenny examines the truck for clues to the murder.
We got a bunch of prints on that car. See those prints right here? We got some good prints here. Here. Hopefully they can get some blood off of that. It's like a puzzle. You put the pieces together. You start with the basics. First we try to reconstruct what happened. They're shooting from the side, the back of the vehicle. Yeah, it's coming from this direction here. It could have been the driver at the time. It could have been the back seat. You got the vehicle with the plastic.
You're right, because the plastic and the driver's seat is all ripped up.
Yeah.
Kenny hopes the killer left his prints on the plastic when he moved Robert's body.
Okay. When was the last time she saw him?
Another member of Kenny's squad has tracked down the Cadillac's owner, who says her husband has been missing since yesterday afternoon.
And what did he have on? He said the last time they saw him, he had on a jogging suit, and he wears those gator-type gym shoes.
Robert Ira Lucas Jr.
52-year-old Robert Lucas was born and raised in Detroit. He lived with his wife of 25 years and their 18-year-old son.
You can hear something in the background outside. Screaming. The family's been notified. Say it again.
6 hours into the investigation, they uncover a possible motive.
Yeah, because talking to my wife, she said that she talked to him yesterday. He was at this car wash. He was supposed to be selling 15 pounds of weed. And he had told his wife that he was going to call her back. So, 15 pounds of weed. Yeah. With the amount of drug-related homicides we have, how could they not know that one day they may be a statistic and 6 feet under? I mean, they make money for a little while, but how long does it last before you die? That's what it is. They went to make a delivery and they ripped it. The pieces are falling into place, but we just don't have the full picture right. We know they're in the right ballpark. We know that his last location was at the car wash. We're gonna run up there and see who we can talk to find out what day, what time he was there and became deceased. We got a new case today there. That car wash may be our crime scene. It may be where the shooting took place. $2 car wash. There it is right there. Right there. Your adrenaline starts to flow when you're on the hunt trying to find the killer or you're trying to find some additional evidence to help you solve the case. Right there. Doesn't look like anything. Yeah, I drove at that location and it doesn't appear to be any activity. So I'm gonna head back downtown Detroit wasn't this bad when I was a kid. I can't remember violence when I was growing up. My mother did a good job raising us because she instilled something in our lives that we had to go out and try to survive for ourselves. Yeah, Tom. Sergeant Kenny from Homicide, how are you?
Kenny wants to confirm drug rent was the motive.
Oh, good, Joanne. How are you today?
So far, we have not found any marijuana unless there is a secret compartment in that vehicle. I need you to check for that. If you have to tear it apart, tear it apart.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay, do what you got to do.
We've asked that I search this truck for firearms evidence or any type of money, drugs, guns that could have been involved with the scene. They gone to the edge of the speaker, ricocheted in here, and stuck in plastic right here. Approximately a 9 millimeter. Firearms identified. Seems like a match to a gun.
With no drugs or money found, detectives re-interview the victim's wife to find out who Robert was meeting at the car wash.
What was the time she last actually spoke or had contact with him?
Said she talked to him yesterday about maybe 4 o'clock, and he indicated that he was at a car wash. Said they couldn't talk long because this guy named Man wanted to talk to him, but she doesn't know that. She just knows him as Man.
They finally get a solid lead, a street name.
The last person that saw him alive. Only thing we know that his name is Man. This is probably another drug dealer, and what he saw was an opportunity to take the drugs and kill him.
But Kenny lacks probable cause to bring in their potential suspect.
In order to talk to him, we need an eyewitness that's knowledgeable about what happened inside that car wash.
With 15 hours already gone, Kenny's investigation is at a standstill.
I thought we were going to be able to do a search warrant on the car wash, but we can't because we don't have enough.
Back in Phoenix, Detective Tom Kalesa is investigating the double homicide of Joseph Pedroza and his girlfriend, Frances Tapia. Kalesa now needs to backtrack the victim's last steps.
Where was I seeing you saw Frances?
The last time I talked to her, she was out on 32nd Street in Portland. It's his best friend. His best friend's name is Banger.
Francis's mother says Joseph and Frances were at their friend Banger's house only a few hours before they were murdered.
That's where they started talking. That's where my daughter called me from.
Call me for anything, if you have anything at all, if you want to ask anything, if you just want to talk. I can't guarantee you I'll solve it, but I'll give it my damnedest. If we know at 9 o'clock you're in Meg's house, that's where we call her. Hi, Tom Kless at Meg's Place. How you doing? Hey, Banger? Well, I'm Tom. How you doing? Can we come in and talk to you? I'd rather talk to you out here. Okay. Here's everything. Front seat. That'll work. So last night, which would have been Tuesday night, 15, they were at your house in California.
Earlier that night, Joseph got a call from a friend named Lonnie who owed him money.
Katie's kid Lonnie. You said you've met him a couple of times. What's this kid like?
Lonnie Bassett is a white 16-year-old who fits the witness's description of the shooter.
Look up Lonnie Bassett.
The records also show that Lonnie lives in the house Francis's mother pointed out earlier, where the victims may have been before they were murdered.
He doesn't look like a killer at all. Of course, he's a 16-year-old kid. There's not many 16-year-old kids that look like killers. Even though the information we have is sketchy at this time, he's still a good investigative lead. He's someone we need to be looking at right now.
With little sleep, Kalesa and Detective Daryl Branch head back to see Sherry, the 911 caller.
She said she was basically face to face, just like 3 or 4 feet away from this kid when I came to the window and asked for a ride. So we'll see if she picks up Lonnie or not. One set of photos I want to show you. And again, just take your time, look through the photos. If you recognize someone, let me know. If you don't, let me know that too. Witness knows who it is. When they look at that lineup, you know they recognize that person.
This guy kind of, I don't know, his eyes, but I don't remember really any, like, facial hair. His hair seemed to be longer on top.
So you pointed to number 1, and I'm just going to ask you a point blank question. Is number 1 the guy that was out there?
I don't know that I can say 100%, but his eyes, like, that was the one thing that stood out to me when I was looking at him, and that's what's standing out to me in the picture on number 1.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, it's the middle of the night, it's dark outside. You accept that they cannot ID this person, and that's the fair way to do it. Remember, don't pick up strangers. It's frustrating, but you got to look at it objectively. Lonnie may not be the guy. Lonnie may be totally innocent. He may have been at home watching Shrek.
What do you mean by doing a door knock at Lonnie's? Regardless of whether it gets picked out or not, we have to talk to him.
There comes a point in an investigation where you gotta make it or break it. You gotta hit him right between the eyes now. Because you can't keep chasing a ghost. Lonnie cannot get him out. I go knock on his door, I'll find out right now whether he's involved.
We broke our best under pressure. That keeps you pushing. You want to push on. You want to continue to. Right person responsible for the case. You want to close the case. Hey, how you doing? About 6:30. Until I get all my evidence lined up. Because again, we don't have to get involved. We're only as good as the information that we get.
At Ballistics, ID Tech Christian Kerr will analyze the bullets and casings found in the Cadillac.
We have here 2 fire expended bullets. We'll cover the bullet 9mm. We also have here 2 casings. We'll cover the exact same scene. They're also 9mm. We can't say for sure that these casings came from these bullets, but we can say that these bullets match. And they came
Sorry, you
from the
guys know
same
this
gun.
thing takes
And these casings
forever
also
to
came from the
load.
same gun.
Kerr will photograph the bullets and casings under a microscope and enter the information into IBIS, the Integrated Ballistics Identification System, to see if they came from a gun used in other crimes.
What I'm doing here is I'm lining up the bullet so that I can take a picture of each individual land engraved impression on this particular bullet. There are 9.
Every firearm leaves unique markings on a bullet or casing, like fingerprints. No 2 guns are alike.
And now we'll pull up a list of possible matches. It gives you a list of 26 possible matches. It's a fair chance that we can make a match. I'm actually placing the images on top of each other so as to see if I can find any common characteristics. After looking at this one doesn't look too great against it.
After comparing
Who are you talking to?
possibilities,
Oh.
no match.
That just means that we don't have something in the system now that corresponds. It doesn't mean that later on something may not come along and be paired up against.
Did you make the beans?
And put them in the IBIS right now.
Did you make the beans? Okay.
It's frustrating, especially if you don't have the evidence or the
My
leads
baked beans.
to follow through on. Right now,
Oh.
fish.
Okay.
At the crime lab, evidence tech.
It's alright, I can make 'em when I'm ready to eat.
The Cadillac. Its colleague, Mary Gross, lasers the plastic sheet from the driver's
That's alright, I'll make them here in a little bit. I'm finishing my graphics first and then I'll make them.
You gotta be careful, there's some blood on this. Look at this thing knotted in. So right where that knot is, there may be a possibility for fingerprints. What I'm looking for is any white spots that will appear vividly in this.
Because these things are touch control, there's really no good structure to see that's
this was in the back seat. The bad guy had to be sweating. I think I'd be awful nervous if I just got done trying to wrap somebody up and kill them. But we're starting to see something.
What happened? Who? On air? On air?
The print quality from the plastic is poor, but Gross hopes it will be useful. Meanwhile, Smith also uncovers a print from the tailgate.
We send it to Central Photo first. They will photograph it. Then the latent print people will get it next. And they will identify the person that left that print there.
One of these two prints may belong to Robert Lucas's killer. Back in Phoenix, Detective Tom Kalesa may have a motive for the murder of Joseph Pedroza and Francis Tapia. The night they were killed, the victims planned to collect a debt from their 16-year-old friend, Lonnie. With time quickly slipping away, Kalesa decides to risk confronting his suspect.
We gotta make it or break it today with Lonnie. We gotta either say, yeah, he's involved, or no, he's not. If Lonnie's the guy, I mean, Lonnie's a double murder suspect. As far as people are capable of killing, I feel the majority of people will not kill because they can control their anger, their feelings, their passion. They're able to overcome them. But that everyone has a threshold that will drive them over the edge. Is he here now?
Lonnie's not home.
They tell us that he occupies the downstairs portion of his house. 5 o'clock in the morning, Dad goes downstairs to get him up for work. Dad notices he's got an injury in the back of his head, which the witnesses at the scene say this guy was bleeding in the back of his head. He got up to knock. This morning, Dad gets up to wait to set up for work. Son is gone. Hasn't been heard or seen from since. We are notifying our special assignments unit, our SWAT team. They are very, very good at finding people. They will find Lonnie for us. He had a 12-gauge shotgun when he did this. He basically executed 2 people. So he is capable. If it's him, he's very capable of it. Just want to let you know that in case if they ask you that, I mean, we are doing a search warrant here, so that's basically where we're at, boss. It looks pretty bad right now. Go answer the garage, check your garbage cans inside the house.
A search of Lonnie's house goes well into the night.
You're not in his room right now, and there's blood on his pillow, there's blood on his bed, there's a box of shotgun shells.
Shotgun cleaning kit. And outside there's some shotgun shells. Those in hidden rooms. We've got several items inside that we're taking. The most interesting stuff was in his bedroom. There's some bloody pillows, some pop cans throughout that may have been touched by our victims as they were over here partying with him.
In the family car, they find their biggest piece of evidence yet.
That turns out to be a shotgun, which I believe it is. That's the biggest physical evidence we have.
Model 37, feather light, 12 gauge.
It's always nice to have it. We get it, but it's cool to have it.
As the first 48 winds down, the hunt for Lonnie heats up.
They got him.
They say you just snagged Lonnie. He's got the tennis shoes on, and when they first snagged him, he says, I'm the one you're looking for.
Lonnie's got the shotgun. Lonnie's full of blood. Lonnie's running and hiding. He'd have to do a lot of explaining to vindicate himself. And we followed that pattern for almost half a mile. The only missing piece now is him saying, I did it, here's why I did it. Here's how I did it.
Lucas's killer are two promising prints from the victim's Cadillac.
I'm going to make an enlargement of the print that was found on the plastic so that I can then trace it and scan it into the APIS system. Look at each ridge, see what direction it takes, it stops, it forks. Once we get 9 points, the print is considered usable.
While Marcia McCleary works to extract a usable print from the plastic, another ID tech will see if the second print found on the tailgate can lead to the killer's identity.
I don't know why this takes so long to load. Sorry, guys.
From the unknown print, the latent print, to the known fingerprint of the complainant, Mr. Robert Lucas. This print does indeed match the print of the complainant here, Mr. Robert Lucas.
Meanwhile, McCleary has succeeded in tracing a print that can be entered into APIS, the automatic fingerprint identification system.
And it's on the way. And now we wait.
APHIS returns with 25 potential matches.
This is not a match. This is not a match. This is not a match. I will move on to the next print. None of the 25 candidates were a match.
Kitty is at a dead end.
Okay. Bye-bye.
In the first 48, police found a body in a brand new Cadillac Escalade. ID'd the victim as 52-year-old Robert Lucas, who was on his way to a local car wash to make a drug deal. Learned the street name of the potential suspect and processed the evidence from the car to tie it to the murder without success.
I bought 1,000 business cards, and this is the last of them since 1987. But they're gone, I'm gone. So I only got a few left. So you guys are lucky. It's frustrating, very frustrating. Eventually, someone will get locked up, and so I know about this homicide, or someone's conscience about them and said, "I'm going to tell you about this homicide." So it's just a waiting game. We'll start again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get some more leads. But we're going to solve it. It may take a little time, but we will get to the bottom of it.
Back in Phoenix, the pieces are falling into place for Detective Tom Kalesa. He just needs Lonnie to talk.
Court of law is a place where a person or a judge will decide whether you committed a crime. The judge is like an umpire in a baseball game. He decides whether you have acted in a right or wrong way. If you did something wrong, you may be punished. Do you understand?
If he was 18, it would be the normal rights, but juvenile Miranda rights are very protective of juveniles.
Yeah, what happened there?
Yeah, he got in the car and everything, I was ready to go. And we just started driving down the street. And his girlfriend was driving, and he was in the passenger.
Lonnie claims that on the night of the murder, Joseph was high on methamphetamines and threatened him in the car.
After he kept telling me, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me money, I'm going to kill you. And he grabbed something like this, and I couldn't see what it was. I got real scared, and I had been drinking that night, and I just started panicking, and I didn't know what to do. I honestly don't remember what I was thinking. I just remember pulling the trigger and everything going just deathly quiet. And then a couple of seconds passed, and I hear like this big gust of wind, and I didn't know what to do, and I started really panicking. And I just grabbed the gun, and I just started running.
This is
bothering him quite a bit. He needs to get this off his conscious. He's been wrestling with this for a while. I think part of it is drug induced, part of it was alcohol induced, and part of it is he just doesn't understand what he did.
Did you point the gun at her? Yes, sir. Did you shoot her? Yes, sir. How many times did you shoot her? Yes, sir.
Basically, he claiming he was in fear of his life. He admitted shooting Joe. He admitted shooting Joe's girlfriend twice. If the evidence was different, then Lonnie's story would be more believable, that he was in fear of his life. But Joseph didn't have a gun. It looks like Lonnie just shot these people.
In the first 48, they found 2 bodies in a crashed car. Tracked down a 911 caller who came face to face with the shooter. ID'd a potential suspect, 16-year-old Lonnie Bassett, who confessed to killing his friends, Joseph Pedrosa and Francis Tapia.
3:22 a.m. 03:22 hours. Basically 48 hours. He's out of jail. Lonnie's the same age as my son. It's just hard to comprehend that a 16-year-old kid can be a double murderer. When was anybody to ever know what was going through this kid's head? Except him. Not go home, go to sleep for about 3 or 4 hours, and come back to work. Work on the next one.
Homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called.
I didn't know it's a dead body there. You strangled her?
Good Lord. My mom's been there for 3 weeks. All we've got is 6 dead bodies, and we don't know anything about the suspect.
Their chance of solving the murder is cut in half.
Choke me with an E.
If they don't get a lead.
He was gonna kill us one by one.
The first 48 hours.
You gonna call us back tomorrow with more bodies?
It's unbelievable. This is unbelievable. We have serial killer.
Oh. Yipsy.
6:30 p.m. Thursday. The end of a long, hot Kansas City summer.
Homicide, Niemeyer.
Sergeant Doug Niemeyer gets called out to a bizarre scene in the Prospect Avenue area. A working-class neighborhood with some abandoned houses.
Yibbies.
A neighbor smelled something last week when he was mowing the grass out there, but it's an abandoned property, so he didn't think much about it. Today, somebody went inside this garage and they found 2 bodies stacked on top of each other. They're in the back?
Doug Niemeyer, at 32, the youngest sergeant in homicide, heads a squad of 8 detectives.
I applied at the fire department, police department at the exact same time, and the police department hired me first. I love this job. Every day when I get up, I want to come to work. That doesn't mean I want to stay here all the time, but I do love coming to work.
Take a look over here.
I'll run my flashlight. I don't know if that's a male or female doing that. Am I stacking up like cords or what?
No homicide is normal, but for us, you know, you have the typical homicide scene, and then you have some that things are different, and this is different. Dang it. Honey, I won't be home tonight.
That call is coming next. Hey, Steve, it's Doug. No.
Niemeyer begins assembling his squad,
Oh, thanks. Bye.
including Oklahoma native Detective Steve Morgan.
I've been on the police department for 10 years, and been a homicide detective for like 4.5 now. It's the only job that I can think of where I hunt another human being. A human being who is attempting to elude you, can think. It is a great rush when you finally catch that person and you meet them at their game.
Niemeyer assigns Morgan to canvass the neighborhood for possible witnesses.
Let's see what, if you guys want to take this block, we'll do walk north.
All right.
Have you seen kind of weird activity going on in the alley, or people coming and going, strange people?
Cow.
Really? Tell these all the time. I don't pay no attention how we use. So, you did okay. You see a bunch of females always coming into there. Oh, really? Don't matter if you like the streetwalkers and prostitutes and stuff. Okay.
The area canvass turns up no witnesses. Back at the garage, the CSI unit begins to process the scene for evidence.
One on top, ain't been there a day.
They discover the body on top is of an African-American female.
Good Lord.
So is the body underneath.
One on the bottom's been there for all that advanced stage.
Where the fuck did Cleo go?
I said one on the bottom's been there for 3 weeks.
When you see 2 bodies, one on the bottom is more decomposed than the one on the top, you have to tell yourself there's definitely something wrong here.
The victims have no obvious signs of trauma, nothing that could explain how they died.
We don't have any wounds. We have nothing.
CSI turn to a special ultraviolet light, which they hope will reveal any hidden injuries.
Nothing. You gotta be kidding me. We collected several samples of bodies. DNA is such a huge part of any investigation. You look for a hair, you look for a fiber, you look for a skin cell. That's better than fingerprints if you have DNA.
With the crime scene yielding little evidence, Niemeyer and his squad know they face a difficult case.
Right now we don't have much. We got 2 bodies and no witnesses. We don't know who our 2 bodies are. We don't know any information about them. In the morning, we'll get started early and see what we come up with.
What?
The next morning,
There was slight bruising on the it's probably strangulation.
Detective Randy Morris, the senior member of Niemeyer's squad, gets confirmation of what they already suspect.
Doug, I'm at the morgue, and we have discovered that we do indeed have what appear to be 2 homicides.
Okay.
The freshest one has a broken neck, and the other one will be a homicide by unknown violent means.
With 15 hours already gone, Niemeyer and his team have to play catch-up.
In most homicide cases, the first thing you want to know is who it is. Because that's basically your starting point. Who is this?
They turn to the crime lab to help them identify the victims, starting with the body found on top.
We do a comparison of the prints side by side and make a decision on whether or not the prints match. This is a match, and it responds back to the person by the name of Sheila McKenzie.
38-year-old Sheila McKenzie, whose name was in the system for drug possession and prostitution, lived in the Prospect Avenue area. Identifying the second victim may be impossible.
In this particular case, it was very hard, rigid, in some degrees mummified. We soaked it in a potassium hydroxide solution, and that rehydrated the fingers and made them soft and pliable again.
Put a little fingerprint powder on the surface now and see if that changes the density.
No, we're just adding some powder to see if that'll make a difference in the scanning.
Despite the advanced state of decomposition, a palm print is clearly visible. The next step is to find a match. second victim is 53-year-old Patricia Wilson, also from the Prospect Avenue area.
Homicide anymore. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. There's somebody out there that cares for those people. You know, our victims don't have a voice in what happens now, so we work for whoever our victim is.
Niemeyer sends out detectives Jeff Downey and Randy Morris to try and contact the victim's next of kin.
Once you have a victim identity, you can retrace their steps, hopefully find out the last person who saw them, the last location they were at. It could lead us to who we're looking for.
Downey and Morris don't have much luck with the first victim, Sheila McKenzie.
Robert, this is the address you gave.
Back at headquarters, Niemeyer's squad turns their attention to the second victim, Patricia Wilson.
The victim was assaulted in early July by a John, so evidently she's a prostitute. Also this morning, one of the detectives took a missing person report from our victim's mother. So hopefully she can provide some more information for us.
Is this a green one?
Yeah, I think we can do it. Hi, with Robert Wilson.
Stupid Prolifa.
Could you come out and talk to us for a minute?
We're with the police department.
This morning you called to report Patricia missing. There's no good way to say this, but we just confirmed through fingerprints that she was one of the ladies at 26 in Marco. What's wrong, Mom?
This was bad and they found her.
Where was she last seen?
She was here. She left here on the morning of the 16th, going to a doctor's appointment.
Affectionately known as Miss Patty, Patricia had long struggled with an addiction to crack cocaine. She was last seen 3 weeks ago.
Do you know where she hung out?
Prospect, I see her walking her building.
You mentioned something about assault.
Somebody had assaulted her.
Who was there? Somebody.
They didn't find the man. She didn't know who he was. He had beat her with his fist and he had choked her.
Do you have any questions for us, ma'am?
I don't know.
All right, did you think of anything, ma'am? Well, if there's anything we can do, just my name and number's on the other side of that card. Just give us a call.
Oh. Oh. Mish.
Halfway into the first 48, Niemeyer and his team have almost nothing to go on. But not much more.
Just because we don't have things we need right now to solve doesn't mean it's not going to get solved. And you guys know that as well as I do. So go home, get some sleep, everybody come back with a new attitude. Here we go, let's start all over. All right, good night. Hey, give me your overtime slip if you don't mind. If you see them getting down, you gotta pick them up and you gotta sit there and encourage them. And hopefully we'll get the break we need tomorrow. And then everybody will be back on Cloud 9.
You know, we're only on call for 28 days. But for those 28 days, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. You know, I'm going home now, but if I'm crazy at any moment, I got to go back again. My wife really respects what I do and understands, and she cranks me up. The phone will ring at 2 in the morning. First words out of her mouth are, "It sucks to be you," so. Sleeping Beauty here. The time with my family. Life is good. You know, until I'm not happy anymore, I'm keep doing what I'm doing.
KMBC TV, Kansas City.
Ah, Bahira. Huh.
Hey, Leah. This is the coverage of the 2 bodies we found yesterday. I know that whether I'm doing this job or not, people are going to kill each other every day. The difference that I do make, however, is that I give that dead person a voice.
If I can make that happen, then the world's a better place because of it.
The garage is behind you.
Around 3 yesterday
On the two roads.
someone smelled something. Yet, police want to hear from anyone. They urge you to call the TIPS hotline.
Just after the 10 p.m. news, the case takes a startling turn. 10:51. 911 gets a call from a man who reports a woman's body.
Ah! Yeah, Navi.
The caller says he put it there. The man makes another admission. He's the one who hid the two bodies the police found in the garage the night before.
Come here.
29th and Park is just 4 blocks away from the first crime scene.
It's an abandoned house. All the way to the very back, there's a pile of brush. Looks like 2 legs sticking out apart, and they look pretty mummified. And it's covered from about here up, including the head with like a piece of carpet or something. Hey, that sounds familiar. Right back here, just very there's a leg right there. Yeah. Hasn't been there a while. Oh, it's been a while. Yeah.
It's too dark to properly process the overgrown crime scene.
Alright, come on. I don't know what we can do. Looking back here, let's figure out what we're gonna do.
They must wait till daybreak to see what evidence lies hidden beneath the brush.
Well, that sends people up and get different clothes and all that, obviously. And I don't know. I just don't want to rush this. I'm furious. I'm absolutely furious. And some of the guys mocking you, saying, "Hey, you missed one."
Back at Homicide, Detective Steve Morgan works on the only lead to the killer's identity, the 911 call.
Here, listen to call. He says I'm on a cell phone.
Oh, super gosh.
It's weird. He's talking slow. It might just be disguising his voice. But... And they're trying to find the phone number.
Shoot.
Well, they're not gonna. It's not listed.
Mostimercha!
This call from a phone that's been deactivated.
All cell phones are programmed now where even if you have service, if you can power the cell phone up, they still dial 911. They have to work on that. You cannot block them coming into 911 unless it's a cell phone without service, because then it's not registered through a company and it just comes in as a 911 call. Our call has nothing.
33 hours gone. Niemeyer and his squad know they're facing a killer unlike any they've ever seen.
If this guy wanted to get away with it, why would he call? There's no reason for him to call. It was just like he was playing a game. The game wasn't being played the way he wanted it to be played. He decided it was time for him to up the ante.
In Kansas City, Missouri, Sergeant Doug Niemeyer and his squad of detectives against a cunning killer who was claimed to be the victims of their bodies in back alleys in the Prospect Avenue neighborhood. The first crime scene, where victims 1 and 2 were found, did not yield much. Niemeyer now hopes the second crime scene will give him some leads as the first 48 continues to slip away. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
As soon as it gets daylight, we know we have a body behind this house. There's all kinds of trees and brush and all that. So we're going home to change. I don't need to rent any more dress clothes. When I was growing up, I had jobs working at tractor trailer shops, farming food stores in Northeast Missouri. And I was like, holy cow, this is hard work. I think those things that I learned back then from my dad, those things that he passed on to me, help me in this job today. You gotta
6-year-old and a 2-year-old, my wife are all upstairs.
Oh, Chiapamine. Oh, boy.
Meyer gathers a squad back at the crime scene of the third victim, just 4 blocks away from the garage where the first 2 victims were found.
So it's always going to start removing stuff away from her until we can see what we see.
Stop it. Subi Web. Moi no.
Right here. I don't know, it's been here for a long time.
Grand.
She does have some socks on her feet, and that's it.
Right now, it appears that that shirt is on her. It doesn't look like it's wrapped around her neck. But if it's up like that, that'd be more consistent with her being drug in instead of flipped over.
We're going down here to check to see if this is where she was killed, because it's highly unlikely she was killed right there. She was probably killed somewhere else in the place there.
And women's underwear. A belt. Some pants.
Pretty small too, and you know, she looks fairly petite just from her legs.
It'd be hard to escape from here, too. Outside,
So we just want to check this one area.
Detective Donnie Hoffman, a 2-year homicide veteran, leads a search of the overgrown backyard.
I'm the only female detective in the homicide unit, 7 guys and myself. It was a little bit of an adjustment, but growing up with brothers and...
Oh. Yes.
2 hours into the search, they pick up a smell coming from the far end of the property.
Man, there almost like a whiff.
Yeah, we were walking down there and I thought,
Oh, soup. Gosh. Ugh.
Come here. That looks like the most you. Look.
Ooh, Dashino.
That's the red. Looks like the most just for a second.
You're wanting to find something, but yet you're not, because you know if you find something else, then that's another victim.
As the first 48 bodies down, detectives have 2 crime scenes, 3 bodies, and an unmistakable pattern. The women were killed elsewhere, their naked bodies then hidden behind abandoned houses and covered.
Oh, soup.
But they still have
Gosh.
no clue as to the killer's identity.
I gotta get some sleep. Rush, gotta get some sleep.
My contacts are like tiny shards of glass.
You want to keep working, but you gotta go home and regroup, and our whole group's gotta regroup so we get a focus. We need to start taking control and finding out who a possible suspect is. And right now, the way I see it, him calling in like that, he's taking control of the situation, not us. Let's just hope that he doesn't call us tonight.
Late Friday night, an anonymous phone call led police here several blocks of each other, the first coming on 3 bodies in as many days.
20 minutes after the 6 o'clock news,
911, can I help you?
the killer calls again.
There's one on 27th and Olive, and another one is at 24th and Providence.
He directs police to another 2 bodies in alleys just off Prospect Avenue.
Sure me, I bind. Boop, boop, borf, nanu, boo.
And hidden in the brush. He says he'll give his name when he calls the next day with more bodies.
Can you just tell me how many more you have? There's 6 more bodies.
As the first 48 runs out, Niemeyer's investigation is just beginning.
It's unbelievable.
Wow. Moin Mill.
And we're right here today, too.
Plans.
Once he gets it, once it's out, he watches to see what's going on. So he can plan what he's going to do.
Yesterday I was mad as hell. But today it's just like, give me what you got.
Detectives Donnie Hoffman and Jeff Downing enter the crime scene of victim number 4.
I don't know how much they told you.
Not a lot about this one.
Okay. Go through the backyard, there's a vacant lot, and just right on the other side of the fence line along some trees, there's 2 like couch cushions right there, and all it is bones.
I have the suspicion that the killer is going to the crime scenes while we're there. I think that he's at the scenes and he's watching us.
Over at the other crime scene, detectives uncover the body of victim number 5.
Go down this hill. I'm gonna guess that's where she was killed, and then brought up the hill.
Just 20 feet away, Detective Joe Marinella finds a gruesome clue.
There is a pretty recent McDonald's bag wadded up in that area, and then just to the north of that is a drink cup from McDonald's. It looks like it's still got liquid in it. It couldn't have been there more than a few days. If that wasn't from somebody that knew about that, there's no way they couldn't have smelled that body sitting down there eating their breakfast.
She's been back there after she's been murdered. Let me tell you something. I don't know that anybody here's been involved in anything like this, but we're in for the long haul, so we're going to have to get more people. There's absolutely no way the 7 of us and me can do this. We're going to have to get help. We got the FBI giving us whatever we need from the FBI. I got the guys that work this area coming in to help us out with any prostitutes that they may know. I'll be right back. We're going to work this one, we're going to work that one. In this case, it's bigger for me. It's bigger than anybody that's working it. We just got to get some people and things in place to figure out who the hell's doing this.
With the end of the first 48, the victim count continues to rise. Niemeyer's squad faces an investigation now measured not in hours, but in days.
Who knows what tomorrow will bring?
Loinem Wibosi, Shersha Haberi, Zafu Kalo, Wapana Fwenmu, Suna.
KCPD forms a special task force and moves the investigation from downtown headquarters to a state-of-the-art command center across town.
Look at this place. It's a change. We went from the outhouse to the penthouse. Oh, good Lord. How you doing? Good, how are you? I don't know yet, but it looks like I'm in a better place than I was.
I've already plotted out your locations for you on this map.
All 5 bodies were found within 6 blocks of one another, in alleys just off Prospect Avenue, turning the entire neighborhood into a crime scene. With a case this big, one of their first tasks is to handle the growing media attention.
He watches news, watches to see what's going on, so he can plan what he's going to do next.
Anybody that doesn't know, we're going to have media down here. They should be locked and never come past that door, because we don't want people getting in here seeing what's on these boards.
Whatever you say may trigger something else or trigger him to move away, kill again. You don't know.
Captain Lockhart's going to be here for a 12:30 briefing with the media.
We have not linked any of these crimes forensically at this point. However, due to the similarities that we have, we believe they are all related to one another.
Yeah, hold on.
And that is the direction we're taking our investigation.
Oh, okay.
The similarities are pretty apparent here on paper.
I was like, yeah, give me a minute.
We have bodies that have been dumped near vacant houses and vacant lots. The area is pretty close together. In 3 of these cases, we had a call that directed us to the location of them. And so we see the similarities there as well.
Are you wanting the caller to call back?
Characterize the tone of the call as a matter of fact, agitated.
Are you considering that person a suspect?
I don't want to get into specifics of what was discussed, how it was discussed, simply because I don't want to jeopardize what we have ongoing.
We don't know who he is, where he's at. Our only link to him are these 911 calls. The first call was 2.5 minutes. The second call was 7 minutes.
When you talk to him, try to find out what it is that's driving him.
Detectives meet with Special Agent Dirk Tarpley, a of the FBI to strategize on how to talk to the killer when he calls again.
Is he really doing it for the glory? Is he doing it because he's trying to clean up the area or whatever it is? Why is he taking credit for this now when he didn't have to and he would have gotten away from it? So play on it from that standpoint.
I'm gonna make dinner real quick. I'll be right back.
It's 5 o'clock.
Oh, my around to police headquarters where our 911 system is located.
They expect the killer to call back after the evening news.
If I can get inside somebody's head and I can take on the role of the killer, okay, if this was me, what is it that would lead somebody to find me or catch me? And you try to think, what mistake is he gonna make?
Okay, are there any weapons involved?
I think the only reason he hung up on last night's was because at the end, you could tell she kind of ran out of questions, and she just said, well, okay, if he's willing to talk about nothing, let him talk.
What dispatcher 42?
If you call, he ain't calling to chit chat, he's calling to give you more victims.
911 dispatchers are prepped and ready for the call.
Right now, all the victims are email all of their last details. They were all found within a pretty close proximity.
As soon as the 6 o'clock news hits the air, Niemeyer calls Morgan with bad news.
You're kidding me. What who? On Fox 4? Right, I'm not. Thanks, but Fox Sports went live on the air and just told all of Kansas City that we're tracking you by his cell phone. And I know he's watching. I guarantee he's watching.
Hello, this is 911.
911.
911 dispatch 75.
911 dispatch 55.
Hello, this is 911.
The killer doesn't call.
It truly set us back. And we can't take that back. We can't change it. We have to deal with it.
The first 48 hours have come and gone for Sergeant Doug Niemeyer and his squad in their pursuit of a serial killer terrorizing Kansas City, Missouri. The killer has directed the police to his victims' bodies by calling 911. But when he doesn't call, their best lead is lost, and they find themselves back at square one, with the victim with 2 eyes.
I want to address the media thing that happened yesterday. There's a lot really, including myself. Nobody did anything like this press release. It wasn't received with the media. You guys have to understand that we fully control what we do. So let's just move on.
The detectives aren't the only ones gearing up for long haul.
Always remember what's most important. If you take care of that and you work hard, the right things. That's why you call wife. I mean, it's the same thing. We're just a gale.
I called a lot of the wives and we planned a breakfast for the guys. They did all really hard. So we just wanted to show them our support.
Good day.
Not that extra special kind of stuff.
You guys have a good day.
The killer's activated phone without a trace. But Detective Steve Morgan and Mike Sharp haven't given up on using the phones to track him down.
It's like to pray, like it's his game and he's in control. We're getting one set.
All were received through the same cell phone crime scenes.
Howard located directly at. Now, drive by on the right.
They bring in a communications expert who can help them figure out the reason.
We are now going to attempt to map from this tower wide general area where we believe our call is coming from. We are ready to do this list.
By process elimination, about the area's precise boundary.
Go ahead and big go from that sector, so.
As detective, you ready to write this down? Yep. 070 west, 094.629. The more we can narrow our scope, the better we're going to be in what this individual was when he made the call.
After 2 hours of testing, they discovered those calls came from an area with a 10-block radius, just 2 miles west of where the bodies were found. Meanwhile, at the crime lab, they see discrepant foreign DNA from the body of victim number 1, Sheila McKenzie. And at the medical examiner's office, investigators identify victim number 5, whose badly decomposed body was found at 24th and Prospect.
Last name Williams, first name Darcy. ID.
25-year-old Mercy Williams was known as Smiles. Adopted as a child, she recently started looking for a biological family, a search that led her to Prospect Avenue.
Where does this ever happen?
At Command
Like,
Center,
kids have gotten
wireless
injured.
had another list of victims, and
Let me do that, like, safety stuff. They're using real shit.
Doing the dump behind a building, 23rd and Prospect.
They're not like safety knives and shit.
Clean up those by the medical office.
Hey. Oh, he is a werewolf.
the task force is flooding calls.
I think fun foul.
Reported missing are alive.
Hey, Vern? Yeah? Go get her. I'll find her.
Niemeyer assigns the task to Patrol Officer Vern Huth.
Right now, we got a list of some possible missing persons that are. Some of these people are known prostitutes. We're going to go to the general area where they might be hanging out and see if we can track them down. Hopefully, we'll find them. Some of them, so we can cross them off our list.
Hi, Mr. Hunt.
I'm just looking for missing people. I'm looking for South Central. You seen her today? You think?
The ladies are still out working, despite the fact there is a killer in their midst.
You know, you can't help but have some sympathy for some of them. Because some of them really haven't had the best chance in life. A lot of them, you'll hear tough talk from them. But I think the reality of it, you hear what they're saying.
Oh, God, they
The looks on their face, they're scared.
I haven't seen him but almost like a week.
I just gotta talk to you for a minute, please.
What I do?
Nothing.
I'm just sick.
I know, you're okay. Alyssa Scott. We have found her. She's okay. That's great. I'm going to mark you off our list, Alyssa. Well, I think that's number 6 we found so far. You know, we're eliminating the list we have, and if we can eliminate everybody off that list, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm a little busy. I don't know, I got every detective that's ever been a homicide person in the room waiting for me to talk to them.
At Command Center, detectives turn their attention to recent reports of sex crimes. They hope to find someone who escaped the killer.
He has killed this many women. How many women survived him? And the chances are pretty good that some out there did.
There's a cover sheet on each one telling you what.
In 24th and Prospect, this woman survived an attack, was raped and strangled. I got the case report number, somebody can pull it.
Detectives Donnie Hoffman and Jeff Downing head out to interview a woman who was raped at 24th and Prospect just 3 weeks ago.
So we just want to re-interview her and see if she's able to give us any information on the suspect.
He was black, dark skin.
Unlike the victims identified so far, this woman is not a prostitute.
And he pulled his switchblade out at me. And he made me touch the tip of the blade. He said he doesn't like women.
About prostitutes.
He said that they're no good and that they smoke crack and they do all these bad things.
Hey.
Saying that I was clean and everything, and that's what he said. He said, no, you haven't been working. See, that's what he said to me. He said that I had a good.
I'll be up in a bit.
That's the reason why he didn't hurt me.
Were you awake when everything happened?
No, I kept passing out. I kept coming and going because he was choking me.
But the victim did not get a good look at her attacker's face.
All I can really remember on his description is very little, because then after that he had my shirt off me and he had it over my face. When he was all done and everything, he mentioned about that girl getting killed on 23rd in the alleyway there, and that I could have been girl number 6.
Their hunch that there are surviving victims is now confirmed. But to catch the killer, they must find a victim who can ID him before he strikes again.
Even last night when we got off work, you're so tired, but you still think about it. And I laid in bed for a little while, just, what's he thinking? What's he doing? Why is he doing it?
In Kansas City, Missouri, Sergeant Doug Niemeyer and his homicide team are trying to track down a serial killer targeting prostitutes in the Prospect Avenue area. The investigators believe there may be women who survived the killer's attacks.
I told everybody not to be here till 10:30 this morning. I thought, man, I can get there and get some stuff done, have some quiet time to myself. I showed up, 3 of them were already there and beat me there at 9 o'clock. Morgan went home last night, couldn't go to sleep, so he got on his phone, computer, and cell phone. And started trying to work on his own at home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I was pretty much on the phone with cell phone companies. It was more or less a crash course in information that I was not aware of.
Detective Steve Morgan has already isolated the neighborhood where the killer called from, an area with a 10-block radius 2 miles west of where they found the victims' bodies. He now hopes the calls will contain clues that will help him narrow the area down even further.
This is 911. Can I help you?
I listen to those calls over and over and over.
How do you know the body's here?
I had nightmares about these tapes last night. The nightmare I had was him calling and wanting to talk to me, and then we'll talk about my wife and kid. Yeah, I woke up thinking, holy crap, it's like a movie. We could hear a train in the background. We heard what we believe were kids.
I'm eating right now. Why?
And what I believe was a bird. I just believe that when I hear this person talk, I'm gonna know it's him or not. It's just my gut.
Railroad tracks run just west of the call's origination area. Using train sounds as a reference, Morgan learns the calls came from somewhere in a residential neighborhood next to the tracks. Meanwhile, the rest of Niemeyer's team continue to work the phones.
Can you tell me what area specifically?
And pound the streets, hunting down and following up all potential leads.
Well, look at him. See if he could be the guy.
You can tell he's educated.
Their best chance of solving the case is still to locate a surviving victim who can identify the killer.
If we solve the living victims' cases, we'll solve who's the killer.
Nerky Nang. Oh,
Detectives Buck
need.
Williams and Joe Marinella have found a woman who was recently attacked off Prospect Avenue.
We've got a girl that was assaulted a couple weeks ago. Hopefully she can shed some light on a possible suspect for us.
Aaliyah tells detectives she was sitting in an alleyway when she was attacked.
And he's choking me, and we fighting off like for a long time. I'm trying to get the thing from around my neck like this, and pretty soon we got tired of using it. So she choked me with his hands. And all I remember is him picking me up.
After she passed out, he left her for dead in an abandoned garage.
He bent down a little bit to put me in here. He was tall.
Did you notice anything special about him? Did he have any tattoos, scars? Real nice?
Real nice. He talks to me like, he ain't got nothing to worry about. No.
What do you look like? White, black?
Black. He dark skin.
What was he wearing today?
Black pants. And like a zip-up jacket, you know, like a...
How was that?
It was black with a gray stripe on his face.
But you have seen him since?
Yes.
Aaliyah saw her attacker walking down Prospect Avenue just days ago.
He looked right at me. And he turned around and looked at me like he seen a ghost. He looked at me like, I thought I killed you. What are you doing walking? And he kept looking back all the way down the street, so I started walking. Because I recognized him. I mean, I could never forget what he looked like. It's the way he looked. I ain't never forget it.
Just blocks away, Patrol Officer Vern Huth is out canvassing the neighborhood when he gets an unexpected tip about a potential suspect.
He just got out of prison. He sliced his wife's throat 22 years ago.
Terry what?
I don't know. He's tall and slim. But you know, he made a statement to me and a few other girls out here. He was going to kill us one by one. No, but I know what he wears. He wears a black jacket with white stripes all the time and a black hat. His mother lived up there in that apartment. I don't know, it's black.
This is Vern.
Officer Huth calls Williams with the potential suspect's first name, Terry. And the mother's address on 24th and Prospect.
Alright, see the thanks. The description she gave matches the description Leah gave. It says, man, he comes off real nice. I mean, she even described the jacket. She didn't describe it. It said black, well, she said it was a white stripe, whereas Leah called it gray. Right. So,
What's the first name you have?
Terry.
Yeah, let me see what I can find. I'll call you back. All right. Bye.
At headquarters, Detective Rick Hart searches the police database for a Terry with an address on 24th and Prospect.
Terry Blair.
Okay, great.
Homicide, Neymar.
He's been released from prison on murder, and right now he's on the run since February. And his name is Terry Blair.
Blair has been on the run from his parole violation for 7 months.
This is like a puzzle. You have to put all the pieces together. That's what we do. Every detective is just one piece of the puzzle.
In the sub-basement of headquarters, Detective Jeff Downing searches for the file of Terry Blair's murder case from 22 years ago.
It would be this file right here. There's a lot of consistencies. He says that him and his wife, they have kids together, and he finds out that she's a prostitute. He sees her prostituting and gets pissed off. Yeah, her arms are in very similar positions, and she's covered. Yeah, he covered her.
Blair called police himself to report his wife's murder.
They get a call for a party that has information on this homicide. It's him. He confesses.
Hey, man, this might be
In their investigation of a serial killer terrorizing Kansas City, Sergeant Doug Niemeyer and his team have identified a potential suspect. 43-year-old Terry Blair, a parole violator on the run after serving time for killing his wife 22 years ago. But they have no evidence linking Blair to their 6 murders. Detective Steve Morgan's pursuit of the cell phone lead is beginning to pay off. Using a method KCPD can't disclose, Morgan has identified the phone's serial number.
Basically, I was able to find the phone. These guys using the exact model when it was made and when it was manufactured. Just getting pictures out to everybody to make sure they know what they're looking for. The phone was bought in January 28, 2004. Last call made was June 18, 2004.
Yep.
Now, it was reported lost or stolen.
Meanwhile, Detectives Buck Williams and Joe Marinella are hoping Aaliyah, attacked by a man fitting the killer's profile, will pick Blair out of a photo lineup.
This is the make or break time. So yeah, I lose some anxious moments while she's looking at it.
Yeah, I'm going to show you 6 pictures. Here, why don't you stand down here? I'll just lay them out on the step.
Yeah.
Get them laid out before you say anything.
Okay.
Take time looking at them. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Yeah, but you and I can go to the show.
Pues.
Last one's in the out. initials and today's date on the back of it.
This is the break we've been looking for. Now comes the fun part of tracking this guy down.
The next morning, the team fans out across the city, looking to hit every address associated with Terry Blair.
Hey, Gerard. We'll be there in just a minute.
This gentleman has a parole warrant for murder and has been on the run from that, which means he knows how to stay out of the way of law enforcement.
His mother just recently got evicted out of the house right here in this block.
Their suspect proves to be elusive.
Jersey black.
Okay.
Their hunt lasts all day and well into the evening.
Good evening, everyone. The investigation into a serial killer continues tonight with startling new developments.
East side. No, it's like a brown one.
Fugitive Apprehension Unit sent out a bulletin about Terry Blair, a 1982 convicted murderer out on parole since January. He's 17. Investigators say they're looking into numerous leads and looking for numerous people to talk to, all of which puts an entire neighborhood on edge.
Hours after the 10 p.m. news, Niemeyer is unexpectedly called back to headquarters.
Dave, want to call let you know he's in custody.
A woman called police in a panic after she and Blair watched the news together at her house.
She told me when we were looking at the news, his picture flashes up, and I play it off because I know that's him. And he doesn't say anything. And immediately after the news went off, he got up and left the house. Then she told me she's afraid and she's scared that he might be out there. So we go out there, we go back and check in the back of the garage, up under the back of the cars. All of a sudden I hear Dad say, "Show me your hands." He was back in the garage hiding under the back of the car. We pull him out, handcuff him.
Sounds good.
Anything else you want to add?
The woman tells detectives she had only recently met Blair.
That guy was my uncle. They got together. He started creeping around a little bit. He said that I've dated women who like to be beaten, tied up sexually. She said, but he kind of broke off at that point. He has a cell phone that is no longer working now. He gave her the excuse that he had it, he dropped it, it was run over by a car. She said she may have seen it, but she can't remember exactly what it looks like. That was it. Thank you.
If we find the phone, I'll know if it's our phone or not. No other towers around it.
Maybe. She knows that it came up as a dip and went straight to his ears, so it wasn't a flip phone, and that it was a slightly smaller than her phone.
Our gut tells us. I mean, you got to go with your instinct, and our instinct is directing us to him.
All the detectives have on Blair is his parole violation and one count of assault. To tie him to the murders, they are going to have to get a confession, and they only have 24 hours.
Once somebody's arrested, they have 24 hours to either charge them with a crime or they have to be released. Now, in his case, he had a parole warrant, but he was booked in on a 24-hour hold.
He would have told the man, do not talk. You know?
Sergeant Niemeyer and his team believe they have caught their serial killer. With only 24 hours to get him to confess, the pressure is on. The team must work fast to learn as much as they can about a man they believe has murdered 6 women in Prospect area.
We're trying to figure out the background information. Terry A.
Blair. They're working on the parole thing right now. He shifted to a different mode after he's in custody. Now I'm under a time restraint. Once we get every bit of information we can to be ready to interrogate him. And that's what we're doing now.
By morning, the Meyer squad has amassed over 700 pages on Blair's family and associates alone.
It's unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4 immediate family members have all been convicted of murder. When he was 17 years old, in 1978, his mother shot her common-law husband. And Blair was there when that happened. And his brother was convicted of a homicide. It was a death penalty case, and his brother was executed by the state of Missouri. Within 4 years of that, one other brother and sister charged with murder also. Just a few years later, he did the same thing. And then he was off to prison. It's just like a reoccurring event.
Jeff got a hold of somebody on the phone, and I don't know how far he's gone.
The most current source of information will be his prison records.
Because he spent most of his adult life in prison, they know what he's like.
With just under 4 hours until the interrogation must begin, Detective Downey hits a snag.
Just his violation reports is 155 pages. Can you fax them? Email? How far is it from Kansas City to Fulton? About 150 miles.
3 hours, maybe. That's 3 hours we don't have, though.
I'll just call Highway Patrol. I got a buddy in Jeff City that's a lieutenant down there. I call him too. Okay. Is your captain in?
They're going to give us the educational and the parole reports.
Yeah, I say get what we get. Okay, it's a done deal. Highway Patrol is going to be there on the ground at 1:30. It takes them 45 minutes to fly here, and I'll meet them at the airport. We've got a lot of people just on standby until we get this guy talked to. But right now, everything's pointing to him, so. Good, how are you, sir? I have something for you. Thank you very much. I've had 3 phone calls waiting on you. Excellent.
This is a partial prison record.
We'll see what that is.
No, I just said now because they're out.
So this is good stuff here.
This is his violation. This is the first page.
Oh, he's almost all paper, man. That's self-esteem.
Really? Well, it says Max is a problem with self-esteem.
There isn't a thing in here that's going to help us solve our case, but it's going to help us know better who we're talking to and what we're learning about it.
It's 4 o'clock. Time to move to headquarters.
Get ready to interrogate our suspects.
This is it. All or nothing. By the end of the night, it'll be done. Oh boy.
Rob Blam and Joe Marinella will talk to Blair, knowing they only got 1 shot.
Rob and Joe were very good at interrogation.
All of them but 3.
We were setting up the room how we would like to do this interview. Yeah, we're putting it in your chair. Rob is one of my best talkers. Rob can go in a room and sit and talk for hours. That's what he's good at.
The team is ready. Blair is led into the interrogation room.
Hey, Terry, you all right? Did you get something to eat upstairs? If he's a smoker and you have a pack of cigarettes and you're sharing a cigarette together, something as simple as that breaks down the initial barrier. This is whatever you have to do to get the person contact. That's what you have to do. When he first started, he was closed, but now he's very open. He's kicked back in the chair, he unfolded his arms, and he's talking. Even if it's about nothing, he's talking.
After 3 hours of small talk, Blam and Marinella shift gears.
What I'm going to do now is show him some pictures of the victim and see what he thinks about these.
get the pictures out. Lay out the bedroom.
They move on to the living victims.
There was a bathroom. You can see the wheel turning. How do they know about that? How do they know about that one? So I think that he thought he had secured them and they would never tell us. Come in here, he's like, we have time. We're right there. He made me a little nervous. He didn't like that at all.
That's okay. I mean, here a little bit. I mean, we're to that point. I know it's hard when we get to that point. It's always hard to go on over it. But
going up the hill and I'm at the top, I don't want to go over.
I told Billy I'm almost to him, why'd you put collars? Let's see what he does.
It's time to play hardball. The cell phone is their only way to play. They have to start asking about the calls.
Just kind of throw it out there at the right time and say, so why'd you stop calling?
I think he was still playing the game with this. What's this about? Why am I getting touched up? But once he brought up the phone call, his whole mind was changed. He's kind of like opening a floodgate.
Blair doesn't admit to making the calls, but he does give them a vital piece of information. He recently gave one of his sisters a cell phone.
They don't have a charger for it. I hear kids too.
Let's go.
Just said that he gave his sister a cell phone.
Someone on a search, I can guarantee.
I guarantee it's in that phone.
No.
We can find the phone.
If we find the phone, the game is over.
The investigation into the serial murders of 6 women by a killer who was calling 911 has led Niemeyer's team through the streets of the Prospect Avenue neighborhood to one man, Terry Blair. While Niemeyer's team works on getting Blair to confess, Detective Steve Morgan is closing in the cell phone that may tie Blair to the calls.
Let's go.
We are in the hood.
4 hours till Blair must be returned to jail. Morgan hopes to find the phone in the home of one of Blair's sisters.
The address of the sister fits in the geographical range of where we know the call came from.
Oh.
Mama here?
Until Blair's sister returns home, detectives will have to wait to search the house.
It's a little eerie. Basically, everything you hear, we're standing right here in front of this house, is what you hear on the 911 call made September 4th. You hear the kids, you hear the train. Here's some bird noise. If actually, that bird's distinct. If I hear that damn bird noise, I'm probably gonna flip out.
Back at police headquarters, Detectives Blem and Marinella decide to push Blair one step further in the interrogation. They will reveal they know where the 911 calls came from and hope that Blair cracks.
I asked him, can you explain that? That was it. It was an instantaneous change. His body language, he wouldn't look at us when he talked to us. He looked down. He wasn't interested in doing anything but taking himself out of that situation.
At Blair's sister's house, the search for the cell phone begins.
I think he completely understood. He knew exactly what we were talking about. He didn't say no. Didn't deny it.
After 8 hours of interrogation, Blair asks for a lawyer.
I'm very proud of what they did on the interrogation. You know, it didn't turn out totally like we wanted it to, but we got the information that we needed.
He's definitely not having denying nothing.
With the kids and the playground and all that stuff, and it's all there.
Oh, I'm not saying that we're dealing with the wrong guy. I'm saying that we don't have the stuff to stick it to this right guy. We gotta find the phone.
But a search of the sister's house has turned up nothing.
I'm not feeling like I was earlier. I'm not in a good mood. We didn't come up with anything, which pretty much sucks ass.
Without a confession, the case will come down to physical evidence.
We know he's the guy that did it. Now we just have to prove it.
As Blair's led back to jail on his parole violation,
Can you go in through there and go back through the metal detector right there?
the detective's best chance now lies with a DNA match.
Take a left through that brown metal detector right there, doorway.
Definitely hope to hear from our lab, and that connects our suspect to one or more of the victims. That would be perfect, because then we'll get him that way.
Just hate to put so much into this one person, because if it turns out it's not the right guy, around shoot through the floor. So that's why you never get too high and you never get too low, because if you do, you're setting yourself up for an awful lot of disappointments in this job.
The next morning, the crime lab runs Terry Blair's DNA profile against the hundreds of samples taken from the victims and the crime scenes. It takes them 2 days. A man's his team.
Alright, good morning. It's 9 o'clock. We'll get started. I'll let Linda start out the meeting first.
Initial rectal, thigh swabs, Terry Lindsay.
Nice job.
The match came from DNA recovered within the first 48 hours from their first victim, Sheila McKenzie.
I just wanted to let you guys know, we know when the media gets a hold of this, that they're going to make it sound like DNA saved the day. And everybody at the laboratory has been extremely humbled by what you guys have done this week. We're in awe. So that's all I have to say.
Well, that's pretty much all we have to say. Take 5 minutes, pat yourself on the back. Don't break your arm doing it, because we got work to do. Very proud of the people that worked on this, because this is the best job in the whole wide world, no matter what we all went through. It just makes us look stronger.
I work with a great group of guys. I'll take this with me through my whole career, through my whole life.
I was starting to get a little over it being a homicide detective, because the thrill just wasn't there for me the way it was in the beginning. But for right now, I got that flame back, and this case was the reason for that.
He said, I'll call you back tomorrow after you do this and give you more. That line.
And that's it for me today. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
We know there are more bodies out there.